And MPA knows, but they are selling. There are OMCs who on my data that I have not lifted on UPPF, but they are selling. Where's the fuel coming from? So you see, when having this dialogue, the way I'm going this way is because I'm tired. Are you not tired? We are tired. We know what to do to make things work. And I'm happy, like he said, we're going to continue from here. And this dialogue is an annual dialogue. It's not ending here. Till we meet again, when, I don't know. We want to see results.
Thank you.
It's a system.
Thank you.
And the system must work. There's a report I'm waiting to still receive from him, and I will not mention that one here. If I don't get a report,
Tell him you are the regulator.
All right. Henry, we have to find a way of managing it. Because we can't have threats be issued. We have dialogue, it's a conversation.
These are friendly dialogues, so we shouldn't have threats.
Where do you want to go?
So let's take the gentleman in white, on this aisle.
In the interest of gender balance, make sure we have women.
Yeah, and then we'll take the lady in the red.
And the lady in black. And the lady in black.
Thank you very much.
My name is Samson Asake Awingobit. I'm the Executive Secretary, Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. I'm a friend to COMAC. COMAC, when you were changing your name from AOMC, you really invited me. But I learned you have a conference started yesterday and today. So this morning I saw the MPA CEO speaking yesterday, and I said, no, I have to be here. My first recommendation is that what our friend from Vivo said in connection with the explosions that happened some few years ago, where he went there with a colleague and in their entering the place, the things that he asked as an industry person and the response he was getting from the police officers. What it tells me is that we, in this country, we have people speaking on issues where they are not technically competent. And so it is done on us as a country to make a recommendation to the Ghana Police Service that in recruiting, you also need certain expertise in the service. So that it's not every investigator that can investigate issues like this. Because the technical question that he asked, if the person were to be oil and gas expert, definitely he would be able to know what he was looking for. And that can be provided. And also, doing investigation, and the MPA is the authority, then you will not share your report with the industry players. How will you come out with models to prevent? And I'm happy that Madam said that it's about preventive. That's the key point. So going forward, I think industry players should make a proposal to maybe to the IGP and also copy the CEO of MPA that this is our concern. Because it is true that you cannot have such an explosion and you just take a normal police officer to go and do investigation. What report will you have? And that is why we are not getting the needed competent report to make input so that our inviting stakeholders, industry players, to also come and advise the way forward. The other aspect I want to add is I think I heard about BDCs testing at the port and it's being caused delays and demurrage and rent. Yes, of course. So far as the vessel is there, the vessel is paying to authorities. And the vessel will definitely pass it on. I don't know, we the consumer, we bear the brand. My office take care of those things. Every year we do negotiations about tariff. And I strongly believe that last year I told the BDC boss that I want to know some of the challenges that they have so that I'm sure this year, 2025, because 2024, we didn't increase any tariff at the port. In 2025, definitely, because it was an election year, we did tariff increment in 2023. So that the government didn't want that noise. But now it's a new year, new government, definitely they shall call us for the port tariff negotiation. Let us understand, especially the BDCs who are here, let us understand the issues so that when we sit in that round table, we know what to negotiate for you, not only the boxes alone. But the bulk importers coming with the full vessel, I know how much you pay so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So let's do the lady. Okay, there are two ladies.
So there are two ladies here. Maybe we should.
Let's go for the red. The lady
and let's
red
keep them to questions.
And let's keep up to at least one question. So when you bundle the questions together, I mean, it takes a bit of time. So one question so that the panelists can respond.
Good morning. My name is Bernadine Aram Anku. I work with Oil Terminals, a storage facility. And now, listening to the conversation, I didn't hear anybody mention of the drivers, because the drivers actually move your products from the depots to the various retail units. And most of these drivers, I don't know what is in place for them in the sense of safety, because, okay, some of the drivers, when they get to the stations, obviously there are integrity checks on the trucks. And then when you come to the depot and you tell them, okay, maybe we are going to fill your truck because, okay, maybe one of your tires is having this issue, or maybe there's a little issue on your car, we need you to go and fix it. Then because it becomes an issue, and it feels like you're trying to stop the driver from loading. Meanwhile, you're trying to prevent an issue from happening. And then another issue is on the roads, what is their safety measures? How safe are they on the roads when they're transporting this product? Because some of them, unless don't even have enough rest, they load products, they get to their
Destination.
where they take those papers, and then they leave, and then they are on the way to discharge, and then they are coming back to load again. And all that, these are issues that drivers, when it comes to the depots, we hear. And I'm always wondering what is in there for them also, because if drivers are constantly getting accidents on the road, cars are being bent, lives are being lost, I don't really think it's...
So that question will be handled by Vivo. Okay, there's another lady.
I have a very simple question. My name is Julia Chichumisi Anoche. I'm an independent oil and gas consultant. I have a question for both NPA and EPA. And this has come about as a result of Mr. Kankam's point about an investigation, and you go and it's the police that is there and they don't know what they're about. I'd like to find out, between the NPA and the EPA, who begins where and who ends where when it comes to such issues. Because both of you have a mandate where HSC issues are concerned. And it's not very clear to me where I'm sitting as to when there's an incident, or even when there isn't an incident, on an ex-ante basis. Who really, if as a consumer you want to hold someone to account, who do you really hold to account? Is it the NPA, is it the EPA, or is it the typical Ghanaian issue of Kohab Braha, and we don't know who is in charge? Thank you.
Thank you. These dialogues will address Kohab Braha. So we are going to pinpoint who will take responsibility for these issues. So the last question, the
back?
Yeah, the gentleman in the back. That'll be the last question. Right. The dialogues are still continuing, so beyond these sessions, you can still engage and have your questions addressed. In the interest of time, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Jacob from Gas of Petroleum. I think my questions are basically in two folds. One to my MPA. I want to find out from him with respect to the pump levels checking at the outlet. We have some instances where GSA goes to check pump levels, MPA also goes to check pump levels. But the methodology in which both institutions apply in checking the pump levels are not the same. One will pump the 10 liters on the pump. One will also dispense into the 10-liter can to check. So there are variations with the kind of numbers that they do come out with. And so that leaves us in a very a confused state as to which method is to be applied. And we heard about some banter between GSA and MPA as to who is being mandated in checking and setting of these pump levels. MPA, I want to find out from you, what is the way forward on this matter, and which of this method has to be used when setting and checking of our pump levels. The last question goes to Mr. Fireman. We have some permits that we need to renew. Payments have been made. We've been following up on these permits. All we are told is that there are lots of permits to be signed, and it's only one person who signs them. and the permits can be there for about a month, 2 months, 3 months, and we have not gotten it. NPA goes to do like their checks, and they will mark us down because we don't have the fire permit, whilst payment has been made. Please, what is the way forward on these things so that like these delays can be taken out of the system? Thank you.
All right, so that will be it for the questions.
Henry, I understand there's a question that if we don't take here, this meeting may be shut down. So, for some reason, let me crave your indulgence so we take this question.
Oh, yeah, Dennis.
So you equally agree that if we don't take it, we'll shut down?
Let's go ahead and take this last question.
Thank you. My name is Dennis Amwi, Goa PLC. Going back to compliance, the panelists talked about the fact that we have to adopt proactive HSSE. When it comes to proactive HSSE, I guess it starts from engineering. But I didn't hear anybody talking about engineering, apart from Kankam, who tried talking about the tanks. I want to find out from MP, what are we doing about engineering? Start from design. So I'll give you an example. We talked about the explosives that's happening. We have designed an LPG outlet, and in terms of design or engineering, we are putting measures where you won't have LPG leaking. In fact, if they leak, there is a system that will trigger all the valves to be shut. In that case, you won't have the stream of LPG moving to any source of fire. There will be no fire, and there will be no explosion. So this is an example of what I'm talking about, engineering or design. If you go outside the country, you have a filling station that is beneath a story building. I'm sure we've all seen it when we travel. Come to Ghana, MPA will tell you that if you site a filling station here, you need to go 500 meters away to site another one. I think engineering and technology has moved away from this aspect of compliance, or HSS if you like. So I want to find out from Fasecho, you are on the floor here. I want you to tell us how you would want to coordinate this, because engineering is the beginning of everything before you come to this reactive aspect of ensuring compliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Dennis Amwe. So, because of the enormity of the questions on MPA, we'll start with MPA, then we'll switch to Shell and Fire. No, microphone. No, it's not. Okay. You give him this one.
Okay. I will start from the first two questions, Mr. Kumi. I think there's a. I was hoping the mic won't work, but I think we'll attest to the fact that when it concerns petroleum downstream issues, MPA is the final authority on them. But I think we all have to look at another critical side of these explosions. I think when they happen, it doesn't just become an MPA issue. There's an emergency response system in a lot of situations. So there are situations where fire will attest to it. Even before the MPA comes on the scene, even when there are accidents, a lot of time we hear from the law enforcement. So as a result, because it becomes a national issue, I think committees are set up to look at all the issues that pertain to why that explosion or why that incident happened in the first place. Mr. Kumi, for me, I know from where I sit, and I could be wrong, but I want to say I know, that there's a report somewhere in the system. As to why, what I'm saying is, as to why administratively, this is news to me, that you haven't seen that report. It's something to consider. So I won't sit here and argue with you. I will take it back. I will note the concerns, because we've received, in the questions, there are about 3 questions pertaining or centering around the same thing, which is this issue of report, being able to draw or think about why these things happen and then getting better. So those three questions, I'll say we'll take the comments, we'll go back, and I'll present, and then within the shortest possible time, I'm sure you'll get an official response of some sort.
Thank you. So there's another question about responsibility, EPA, NPA. When there's an issue, where does the responsibility lie? Does NPA take responsibility for downstream issues, or?
No, for a lot of times, like I said, the issue of depots loading drivers came up. I think NPA has had some interventions in the tanker parks.
Let's leave the drivers to Shell, to people. So you handle the regulatory?
Yes, so what I'm saying is most of the downstream issues, I'll reiterate, there have been times where accidents have happened on the highways. We have regional, we are present in 10 of the traditional 16 regions. So a lot of times the police, security agencies always call us to investigate. So that's why I keep saying that in investigating, we work with these security agencies, EPA, fire, and we generate reports on the accidents. We share with the relevant bodies, and then we try to get solutions for them, and where there are lessons to be learned, we do. So ultimately, the downstream sector, we have the oversight responsibility over it. And once again, this leads into the issue of reporting, which I'll take up through the relevant channels, and then we'll see how to start documenting or sharing these reports so people are aware that we do, this is what we do when these incidents happen.
Okay, so we are amalgamating all the issues in terms of the downstream reporting to NPA. So that's the single source. They would then constitute an interdepartmental or an inter-agency committee to handle the issue. But NPA has responsibility as far as the downstream is concerned. So let's take the transport issue from Dominic.
On the transport issue, I think you are perfectly right. That's why I started talking about the proactive HSE measures, not reactive. And in the proactive HSE measures, a lot of data managing these drivers is on these BRV equipments. We call it independent vehicle monitoring systems that we have on our trucks. If we don't focus wrongly on only UPPF and issues, and we focus on data that IVMS, independent vehicle monitoring systems in that truck generates, we will be able to manage it. I told you from the beginning, in that data, you can even see kilometers driven by a driver. In that data, you can see hours that a driver has done. What is our HSC management system in place for that driver and the truck? That is what is missing. Where we have a policy and HSC management system with risk assessment system saying that no driver should do certain hours, you should be able to track it from the IVMS installed in the truck. And if that driver comes back from a trip, you know the total hours driven, total hours idling, total hours resting, unauthorized stops is done. Then you can fashion out your HSC KPIs to manage these drivers. Look at everything in that system. You would get everything to manage that drivers properly. This is why, for us, we haven't decommissioned our IVMSs in our trucks, and it's on top of the MPA IVMS, because the information I need from that is not only UPPF and other things. I need other things to manage our drivers. So when you talk to most of our transporters, there is a strict driving procedure. Any driver, even before you move, will have to do a journey plan. A journey plan will tell me where you're going, which routes you are doing, whatever you're doing, and we all go and risk assess the routes. In that IVMS, there are a lot of things that can be set to manage the drivers. You can even restrict routes for drivers. Anybody who moves, even you can be stricter, even a meter or something away from that route, you will get an alarm. Then you're going to ask the driver, how come you veered off the route that I've agreed with you that you will use. So it's back to standards. Okay, let's make sure that technology we have addresses other issues, HSE issues that we are confronting with, so that we be able to manage the fatigue of these drivers. Okay, I think
all right.
We need to make use of our data.
Okay, thank you very much. So EPA, so we have 5 minutes more to close the session, but I'll take your remarks and then your closing comments, then we'll go around before we end. So EPA.
Okay, so I wanted to provide clarity on the different mandates. I think NPA, yours is on the products. Yes, it's on the product. But EPA, we protect the air, the land, the sea. So the product shouldn't get into these mediums. So if it gets into the water, we come in. If it gets onto the land, the spills and water, we come in. But mainly NPA is safeguarding the product and all that it entails. If that clarity is fine. Fire.
Yeah.
Okay. It does, but because we have an entity called the fire service, that's their mandate to come in, to quench that fire, handle it, and report to us. And that's where the reporting bits, it's getting mixed up here. But then once fire comes in, but if it's a spill, it's EPA. Yes.
Okay. So I'll take 30 seconds, max a minute of closing remarks. Let me start with the birthday boy.
Well, I think these dialogues are very, very significant. And what the MPA rep is promising, I think you should deliver on all of them. The industry is not without problems. There's still a lot of problems. I'm sure if we continue to push each other a little bit more, we'll be able to resolve some of the problems confronting us, especially the tracking and the fact that you are asking somebody to pay for a product that you supervise the loading and you said you have doped or you have added marking to it, and then you come back to say that the product didn't pass, they should pay. I think that whole situation needs to be reviewed. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you. Marian?
Thank you. So I want to suggest to NPA if we can have a centralized database where we are reporting incidents, not just the explosives, but even the near misses, anonymously. Everybody is reporting into that centralized database. And then maybe quarterly, NPA is analyzing the trends, the risk, high-risk areas, even targeted safety places where we can do continuous learning. It's all about continuous improvement. I think we are all doing basically the same thing in this industry, and it will help with our learning. And our fundamentals, we have to look at it. Dennis spoke about engineering. I even think when you look at the hierarchy of controls, it starts from elimination and substitution. When we are even building our service stations, do we have a uniform building code where we are taking into consideration structural safety to prevent all these incidents that are happening? Looking at, yesterday Boss was here, we talked about distribution. If we even have pipelines from Tema to Kumasi, it will reduce the hours these tanker drivers are driving on our roads. So we need to put in place the fundamentals to prevent these incidents from reoccurring. Thank you.
Thank you. Anaya?
Okay, so on the side of EPA, we put in place some preventive or proactive measures. If OMCs come to us for their marketing facilities, they submit oil spill plans, SOPs, and all that. So that's, for us, a proactive approach that we take to ensure that all your things are in place in case an incident happens, how you are going to respond to it. So we are doing our best to ensure that the environment is continually protected. Yes.
Thank you. Godwin?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I would like to address the questions that were posed to me. One on going to the incident ground. without water. I would say it's a palpable falsehood. We never go to the fire scene without water. And I can say on authority that even the fire trucks or tenders that we have, when they go out of commission, that's when they are spoiled, still have water in it. To buttress on it, where the fire truck that you see does not only contain water, contains other equipment, auxiliary equipment for extrication and so on and so forth. So when we arrive at the scene, we have various types containing 2,500 liters, 1,500 liters, 1,800 liters. And then the water flows by means of pressure. So when the pump is activated, the pressure of 5 bars, it can take even just 3 to 5 minutes to consume water of a volume of 1,500 liters. So when that happens, the public seems as if they came without water, but that's not actually the case. Okay, so under normal circumstances, we're supposed to have hydrants within every 100 meters interval so that we can be able to replenish when water finishes. However, most of the hydrants are faulty. They have to go a long way to go and replenish and come, which hinders on our activities. And then the issue of assessing the scene and then realizing that water cannot fight the fire, then we go back. That one too is no. When we arrive, we come fully prepared. And the firefighting is a science. You do not just go throwing water into anything to extinguish it, because you must end up getting yourself hurt. So you assess what is burning, the fuel or material, then based on that, you know the appropriate extinguishing medium to use in tackling it. So if I come to the scene and I don't need to use water, I will not go back. I'll just go and use whatever other medium, extinguishing medium, that's required to extinguish the fire. So we come fully prepared. We don't come in and go back. However, we can call for assistance when the need arrives. Call for assistance for them to assist us in terms of logistics and then human resource, and so on and so forth. And then I also want to touch on the permit renewal system, where talk about the delays in the permit. Usually when you submit your documents for the permit, it may take a maximum of about 3 weeks for it to be done. Okay, so there are only a few signatories to it, as the regional fire commanders and probably the director of safety, who can sign your permit for you. So considering the bulk nature of the job, take you a maximum 3 weeks, you can get a permit. However, there are systems that are coming in place as the permit acquisition and then certificate process, which is going to be done online, for people to be able to process online to reduce the delay time. So touching on my closing remarks, I would like to say that we need to embrace technology. And when technology is embraced, to go a long way to reduce these accidents that we have. So for example, implementing a surveillance control and data monitoring system that can track or monitor the flow rate, the pressure, the temperature of fuel in storage tanks and pipe waves is a very important way to reduce overflows and then prevent leakages, using real-time monitoring systems and detection systems like the infrared ultrasonic detectors to detect leaks like gas is very important. Also touching on the transportation of hazardous materials, I think we need to have more engagement with the drivers. They need to be engaged with how to handle hazardous materials with respect of training. Okay, I have to be able to input systems like the shut-off valve systems can also be incorporated into these tankers to prevent a spill when there's a tanker overturned. I think this ones also go a long way to prevent accidents. GPS tracking system to track the movement of the vehicle, shut-off valves, automatic suppression systems, or when we incorporate all these systems in place. And then one important thing too is our vapor recovery systems. Be it phase 1 vapor recovery system or phase 2 vapor recovery system, it needs to be implemented. Because personally, I carried out an audit in some of these filling stations and realized most of them were lacking. And this vapor gas not only serves as a health hazard, but also a fire hazard. Because any little spark can lead to a flashover that can cause mayhem. So we need to institute and make sure that there must be a vapor recovery system whenever we are discharging fuel into the tanks or dispensing onto vehicles to prevent any hazard. So thank you.
Thank you. Secho.
Yes. I think for the MPA, what we want to say is thank you once again for such a platform. The good news here is that we are still a work in progress. There are things that, as we found out, we have in place governing the quality of petroleum products. Can we improve? Of course. And I thank my fellow panelists today for highlighting some of the things we need to look at. What we can only hope for is the next time we meet, we should be able to chalk some of or provide you with some feedback on some of the things that you have raised concerns about. They say a passionate industry means that at least they are investing their money in it and then they want to see themselves do better. So we want to see you do better as well. So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and then the next time we meet, you will see better from the authority.
Okay, Dominic.
Yeah, I mean, then the next time could be too far off.
No, it could be next.
That could be 1 year.
I think, okay, no.
And I might not know how many people will die out of after 1 year.
Okay.
So the next time should be much shorter.
So the next time will be, with COMAC, we had some scheduled internally. We wanted to meet with them next week to start, because we have some pending issues. So I think the only reason we haven't met yet is because of this engagement. So next week, I'm sure COMAC will start giving you members some updates on some of the productive meetings we'll be having. Thank you very much.
So the next time is not 1 year.
No.
So what I want to say with Dennis, when he spoke about engineering solutions, controls to most of our challenges, HSE challenges. Yes, it could be one, but you need to keep at the back of your mind that the girl HSEQ lady answered that HSE solutions to engineering solutions to HSE issues could be sometimes very expensive, and you need to balance the risk properly. Everything we do should be risk-based, not because of an engineering solution. What is the risk? That I need to put in all these extra engineering things for what? Basic ones are there. Our dispensers should be ATEX compliant, explosive proof compliant. We shouldn't allow anybody go put any dispenser anywhere. Our electrical system also to be explosive proof compliant. Don't just give your wiring of the size to anybody at all. Okay? Some of the measures are reactive. So sometimes when I see MPA sanctioning people for reactive HSE issues, I don't get it. Because the proactive ones you've not even looked at, you are now sanctioning people on reactive issues. Okay? In all, HSE is strict compliance and competency. Let's make sure we are compliant with standards from MPA guiding everybody through the chain, and competency of personnel who are enforcing the HSE standards that we have put in place. The biggest problem we can have is putting an AK-47 into the hands of a soldier who hasn't been trained. What would we see? We will all die in no time. And that, I can give an example with MPA. When they started the tracking, the volumetric tracking system at Santor, remember we visited the site. This is a tanker that already has fuel in it coming for you to install volumetric tracker systems and everything. That has product. What was the process in place that you need to do to install that tanking system? I remember when we visited, I even asked the guys there, do you have an explosimeter? They said, what is an explosimeter? Then the next time we visited, they said, "Yeah, this is the Shell guy who asked for the explosimeter. Go and show him the explosimeter." The guy brought the explosimeter. I looked at him and I said, "This is an AK-47 in the hands of an untrained person." So I asked him, "How do you operate that explosimeter?" He's standing there looking at me. Lo and behold, there was an explosion. You see, so our processes and competency should be key for the success of this operation.
So, thank you very much. Let's give it up for the panel again. They've done an amazing job. So my takeaways from today's session: we need serious standardization, and it has to be led by the regulator, the MPA. That drives everything in our industry. And of course, we also have to improve upon our incident management process so that we carry all players along when there are incidents. My final comments, and this is a plea for myself: please, everybody who has an LPG cylinder in their home, LPG cylinders expire. Most of us don't know. But in the little time we've been selling LPG, I've realized that a lot of homes are holding expired LPG cylinders. So when you go home, please check the neck of your cylinder and look for the date. A cylinder should last maximum 7 years, after which it's certified, recertified for use. So if you keep the cylinder for 10 years, chances are that you are keeping a bomb in your home. So please, let's recertify our cylinders if they are old. Thank you very much.
Tell it free job for MTA.
So we'll take a picture.
We have gifts for you before you take your photograph. I understand we have. So COMAC will not let you go without showing appreciation. So we have some gifts from COMAC. Please, a round of applause for them once again. And I understand we will take a photograph. Is our photographer ready? So that we take a picture for this particular panel. I think they've been brilliant. They've been excellent. Even though they decided to eat away our time. Is our photographer ready? Or you are taking the technology here? Oh, you are here. Okay. I thought you were doing something with a drone. You're good? Thank you very much once again. I think we can give him another round of applause as they take leave of us. So this is not the end for the day. This is just the end of the first session we have scheduled for this morning. If you are speaking on the next panel, I understand that we have a very short transition time to the second discussion. So if you are on the second panel, may I plead with you to just go to the green room or the registration desk. There's somebody that will direct you there so we can do preparatory work for that panel discussion. We shall take a quick break. Initially, we have scheduled 20 minutes, but let's try to halve that to about 10 minutes, and then we shall return for the second conversation. That is going to be on issues of the intersection between developments in the industry and finance and banking, and you don't want to miss that. So grab coffee, grab tea, come back in about 10 minutes, and then we shall continue the conversations for the second session. Thank you very much.
Experience the convenience of a cashless system with the Star Card and earn cashback and bonus points offers on your fuel purchases. Visit any of our stations nationwide, go to our website, or simply send "interested" to our WhatsApp numbers to receive your card within 1 week. It's that easy. Star Oil, quality and affordable fuels for all.
It was just another day for this gas station attendant. Yet, without knowing it, he was about to do something extraordinary. Total Energies introduces Excellium New Formula, the additive-enriched fuel that cleans your engine to protect it and extend its life.
Say, Mr. Voiceover, did you forget to mention that Excellium New Formula also helps lower fuel consumption?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Well, it's important to be clear and precise.
Sorry. So, Excellium New Formula also lowers your vehicle's fuel consumption thanks to the cumulative effect of its anti-corrosion, anti-wear, and detergent additives.
There you go. That says it all.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Ja, ja, ja.
Fueling Ghana's progress, shaping its economy and safeguarding its energy future. This is the story of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. With over 196 members from petroleum and LPG companies across the nation, the association represents the backbone of Ghana's oil marketing industry.
The AOMC, as we know it today, was registered in 2003. That was when it became a legal entity that can be sued and can sue and had an office. Has existed as such till now. But then it had a history.
Before the birth of what we call the AOMC, there was the meetings, normal annual meetings of chief executives or MDs of the oil marketing companies. And they used to call that industry meetings.
It started when the then existing oil marketing company, many years back, even dating back to the 60s.
Up to the middle 90s, we only had the multinationals operating in the downstream industry. The only local company was Goil. Even Goil initially was Ajip.
I think before even Goil and Tor came in, they used to import all the products by themselves. Individual companies, they were competing by importing the products to do things of common interest to the players. We needed somehow to relate with the entities that existed that managed such facilities like the port. So there was a need to coordinate the affairs in such a way that it doesn't become destructive to the companies and to anybody.
The formation of this AOMC was necessitated by promoting unity and settling of a dispute among the oil companies and ensure fair competition. The way the industry was expanding, we needed to advise the Minister of Energy on the way forward. So we needed a secretariat where all the oil marketing companies could come together and make inputs. And the chairmanship or leadership rotated from one oil marketing company to the most of the time, for the sake of government accepting some of the things, the industry, the Goil championed most of the discussions to government. But what I'm saying is that there was this rotation. At one time it would be at Shell, and the industry meetings would be at Shell and chaired by the Shell managing director. It would be at ELF, and then ELF will chair.
It didn't have an office. So if MD of Shell is handling it, it will be there. He will be in the office. The records, you may have files. It was not formalized that much.
Then with time, in 2003 and or thereabouts, the group drew up a constitution and it was adopted. And then at that point in time, it was necessary to appoint one key person as the coordinator.
Somebody who understood the industry but was not an officer of any of the companies to do the work of the coordination. And this fell on Josiah Kofi, who was also the managing director of Shell, that retired. But he passed away unceremoniously. So when he did, we lost all our records.
A month or two or so after, Mr. Barno was appointed to do the coordinatorship job.
Then the industry, they said, look, this gentleman has been an old man in the industry. Why don't we grab him to do this job for us as an industry coordinator? At 2002, thereabout, immediately I retired, So I started, no office, nothing. What do I do? Even though I knew what I was going to do, but then I thought it might be properly organized. So what I did was that I want to get an office.
That was the time that Goyle decided that we cannot allow the thing to be like a portfolio businessman carrying things around without an office. And if that happened, and we also left. Death, nobody knows when, but the person can even resign, can go, and everything was like for him. So I decided, I was then MD of Goyle, I decided that look, I would offer an office for the, as a man of the coordinator at that time.
So he said, look, I said, my regional office behind Japan Motors, I think I can give you a place as a temporary visit. So we gave us a place. So this is where I started settling down as an office. But then I had two ladies, I think Jemima and I think Susie.
So from Goyle, an office was taken at Laboni and subsequently moved to Pimpa, where you are. And, as we moved on, and then the industry was becoming more and more competitive, and it was expanding.
As the association grew, so did its ambition. The call for deregulation set the stage for a bold new era, one where the markets could thrive under the principles of fair competition and freedom.
And the thinking of deregulation will materialize, and that would involve a lot of players.
Because even at that time, it was a highly regulated environment. At the end of every year, the government fixed prices and then fixed margins for the industry. At a point in time, the market prices were changing due to changes in the world market price. But the margins for the OMCs were fixed, and we were having difficulties in meeting our running costs. We were making losses, so we had to approach, at that time, the Energy Commission to negotiate margins for the dealers and then the OMCs. That was then regulated period. But when we started the deregulations, government had a lot of consultations. We met stakeholders. Everybody was involved.
The international companies around, knew the procedures in other countries. So all these were brought on board, and decisions were taken as to how to handle the deregulation situation.
Because it was costing the government so much money in terms of subsidy.
And with the foundation of the National Petroleum Authority, what started as a modest organization began to wield real influence in Ghana's energy landscape.
We got a time the government wanted the oil companies to take responsibility for the importation of the products and crude oil. As it used to be, products that TOR would not be able to process beyond what their capacity could do, and what we called bulk importation. We said we should bring all our market shares together and import in bulk. And when it arrived, everyone would take his share.
So the people also established an institution they call National Petroleum Tender Board. This institution, they wanted us, as it were, to import the shortfall, that is the oil companies, because that is our business.
So it led to a tender system where the winner will import the products for everybody.
Fortunately for us, our first attempt, we were able to bring about $100 million dollars worth of product. You might have heard about uniform price system somewhere. Can't we do the same thing here? We don't always go to the government to get a price, for every month ending. So remember those days, at the end of the month, everybody had to go and pay the fuel tax because there was going to be to approve of that institution, National Petroleum Authority. The idea is that this institution was going to take care of uniform price system. Again, I was made a member of the board of directors.
From regulatory hurdles to market challenges, the association persevered.
Some of the managing directors were being difficult. We want something crossing up and up.
There was a time, this is an interesting one. Some people felt there should be separate association seeking the interests of the 100% Ghanaian-owned companies, or the small OMCs. Because they felt that the big OMCs had monopolized the association. That was a challenge. Do you let that happen? You don't. I was approached. I heading a Ghanaian-owned company, GOIL, and being a big company, we better handle the issues than if it's...
But all along, the main problem for AOMC was the financing. So when it started first, it was GOIL who was paying them. From ladies, they will tell you, they have to follow up. Some will be ready to pay, some will just push you away, people are not doing anything. Sometimes MP will support, sometimes GOIL will support, sometimes Ministry of Energy itself will support through these LPG funds.
Shaping key government policies, championing industry achievements, and setting new standards that benefited both its members and the consumers they serve.
In fact, at that time, the BBC as it exists today didn't exist. So through all those efforts, in fact, the way the industry is today, with all the bust, was not operating as it is today. Even though government said they bust up, the full operation of the bust facilities, GOIL played a key role by the existing oil marketing company. The office started from GOIL office. We were handling the movement of the product. The early staff of BOSS, we recruited them. And so if I see all these things, it's a legacy that
we were able to have. They had very well at this place there to mix when you want to get another product. Even in 2015, before the government could fully deregulate the industry, it came with a lot of support from the AOMCs.
Today, the landscape is nearly unrecognizable from the early days, marked by innovations.
It's changed very significantly. And that is something that we sit back, or I'm sure others, not me alone, those who are involved sit back and will be proud of.
You can see those days we used to have drums on the streets, people selling product using hand pumps and things like that. But all those things have ceased, and the delivery system also, I mean the BRVs, they have trucks.
Strategic partnerships with government, agencies and industry stakeholders, the association became a driving force, transforming Ghana's downstream petroleum industry.
My time, I enjoyed very good relationship with the NPA. We also had standards board. They also supported us.
A lot of people from the politicians, the ministers of energy, they helped, and some other experience at that time.
And the other institutions that were at the OMC was also involved with the Energy Commission. All these institutions, we needed them, The OMCs many years ago, we were operating our own vehicles. And we realized that it was